Welcome to the new podcast, Pr3tty Thrifty, Resellers podcast with your host, Pr3tty Marie. Alright guys, welcome in. This is my first podcast, so I'm just gonna introduce myself to you guys a little bit. My name is Pr3tty Marie. I am a full-time retailer. I'm a full-time reseller. I am not yet a six-figure reseller, but I'm definitely on my way there. I do music. I love thrifting. And I love my dog. She's actually sitting a little bit close to me. But today, to start off the podcast, I wanted to talk about, hold on, let me pull it up real quick because I wrote it down. Okay. So I kind of just wanted to get into sourcing. So today's podcast is going to be about sourcing, and I put a few bulletins of what I wanted to go over, and it's going to be where to source, when to source, and how much to pay for an item. Oh, excuse me. Okay. I am a little sick, so my voice might change up a little bit from here in a couple podcasts. But anyways, let's get straight into it. Sourcing. My first is where to source. So I wrote down a few places. I wrote down 8 exactly places. Okay. So we have garage sales. We have outlet stores, which would be like the Goodwill outlet or other types of outlet stores that are in your area. We have thrift stores. We have estate sales, swap meets, online platforms, pawn shops, and other resellers. Believe it or not, I get a lot of inventory from other resellers, especially online. Okay, so garage sales are pretty self-explanatory. You just kind of travel around your neighborhood. I would go to somewhere that's rarely residential and just look for signs, and you can find them all over the place. Now, don't be scared to bargain. I think a lot of people are scared to bargain, and I am not. Don't think prices are firm, because your prices aren't firm, are they? 9 times out of 10, no, they're not. Outlet stores, you guys really need to look. A lot of people that I see going do not look very well, and I get all the stuff you don't find. So I guess be better competition. That's not really good to say, but it's what it is. Everybody has competition. Okay, this is something I don't really do, is estate sales. But you can really find some good items depending on what your niche is. I don't do estate sales just because a lot of estate sales is for like glass and like old books and stuff like that, and I don't really do that. Guess you could find clothes and bags, but anyways, let's get to the next. Swap meet. This is one of my favorite places to find items because I actually sell there. So when I'm selling with someone else, I'll have them look over my store, and I'll go walking around the swap meet. It also gives me a break from my stall. But swap meet is actually probably one of the cheapest places you can go to. There are some people who will ask a little bit high. But again, don't be scared to bargain. Send out a price. If they decline it, just politely walk on, or, come closer to the price they're asking if you really want it. Okay, online platforms. This is another place that I like to look, especially when I'm looking for a more higher end item, designer items. I'll get into a little bit more of how to source online in a little bit, but let's go to pawn shops. So pawn shops, a lot of people as well are under the impression that you cannot bargain at a pawn shop. Pawn shops are the same exact thing. You can bargain at a pawn shop. There have been many times that I have gone into a pawn shop and I've gotten sometimes even less than half of what they're asking. I've gotten like a price down to like 30% of what they're asking. They honestly pay so little for these items that they can go down. And especially if the item's been sitting around for a long time, they'll go down on it. Excuse me, I'm a little sick, I told you guys. Got the sniffles. Okay, now other sellers. So other sellers, you might come across someone who is a reseller. You can come across them online, you can come across them in person at the swap meets, maybe another garage sale, and they may want to offer you, you know, oh, I'm just selling this stuff for right now, but I have all this in the back, do you want to see it? There's been so many times that I've had people come up to me, even at the swap meet, just random guys coming up to me and saying, I have lots of inventory at my house, do you want to buy it, or do you want to look at it sometime? Take on those opportunities if they are offering the right price, and, you know, ask about what they have. So maybe if it's in your niche area or in your area of expertise or whatever you're selling, you might want to pick it up or look through it. All right. When to source. Okay. For the main part, this is going to apply for basically all the places that I listed. Early bird gets the worm. Okay, that means if you are up early and you are up at these garage sales, at these thrift stores, at these estate sales, at these swap meets, at these pawn shops, if you are there first and you get to see the fresh inventory, you will therefore be the early bird getting that worm. Okay, so when you're looking to source, I, on the other hand, like the outlet stores, because you can do this anytime because they're rotating. That's if your outlet store rotates. I don't know that all outlet stores rotates, and I mean I don't know that all outlet store rotate, and I don't know that all outlet stores don't rotate. Personally, the store that I go to, that I frequent, is a Goodwill outlet store, and they rotate about 6 to 7 times a day. I believe it's 6 times, and there's always something new that you can find, because once you've looked through everything, they're going to bring out new stuff. Now, the thing is that they are not open regular hours that thrift stores are. At least mine isn't, because mine closes at 4. However, when I did live in Utah, theirs closed at 7, I believe. It may have changed with Corona, but yeah. I really love the store that I go to. I really love the Goodwill outlet. It's very profitable for me, and it always has great items. Granted, it's always busy, but that is something about Goodwill outlet stores, and we'll probably have to do a whole podcast just about the Goodwill outlet and kind of about, you know, like some unspoken rules and some etiquette, I would say. Anyways, next I wanted to get into how to source online. I've gotten really good at finding cheap products online, so I think I have just a little mini guide for you guys to follow that I think would really help you. Now, the main thing is you want to filter your search results. Most platforms have a filter button, and you want to go in and you want to filter it to be as specific as you would like it to be. So if you want it to be under a certain price, if you want it to be a certain color, if you want it to be a certain brand, filter your results so initially you're putting all those other things out of the site. Another thing is send offers. You know, I get lowball offers that I accept all the time because maybe that item has been sitting for a while and I just want it gone. Don't be scared. What is the worst they can do? Decline your offer? Counter with their price? Don't be scared. Yes, I guess some people may take it as rude. They may have too high expectations. Anyways, another tip that I would say is to repeat check new arrivals. So basically, Poshmark, they kind of let you know, hey, Fendi has new arrivals. Hey, Fashion Nova has new arrivals. Check them out. I like to check the new arrivals because sometimes you can catch a unicorn, which is like somebody selling a really sought after item for super cheap. Maybe they didn't know. Maybe they did and they just wanted to get rid of it. But if you check those pretty often, you can come across some really good items for cheap. Another thing is I put search items using terms not associated with the item. Okay, so for an example is like if I'm looking for a Juicy Couture Daydreamer bag, which is a really popular sought after style in the Juicy Couture bags, you know, not everybody's gonna know maybe that it's called a Daydreamer bag. So what I'm just gonna search is Juicy Couture large shoulder bag. I'm gonna be a little bit more broad and I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna search that way. Like, yes, do go and search Juicy Couture Daydreamer, but at the same time try it the other way and search without the Daydreamer and search more broadly, because some people will just put Juicy Couture bag and it could be the Juicy Couture Daydreamer bag. Some people will put Juicy Couture shoulder bag and it could be the Daydreamer bag. So just be a little bit more broad with your searches and don't always search to exact terms. All right, next in our final conversation topic is going to be how much to pay for an item. Okay, so when you are going to pay for an item, the first thing you want to do is check the comps. You want to see what is the value of the item. What is this item selling for? And what range is it selling for? Maybe it's selling for $100 on the low end and $500 on the high end. How much are they asking for the item? How much are you willing to pay for the item? What is your business model like? You see, there's so many things that go into buying an item, and I don't think a lot of people think about that, but always check the comps first. So once you have checked the comps, you don't really want to pay more than 50% of its value. Personally, my average cost of goods is probably about $1.50 or less. I have to really sit down and completely figure that out. But I know that when I go out sourcing, I'm really, really cheap. And I don't like to pay more than $1 for most items. And when I do, I want it to be something that's going to get me over $100. So, for example, something that I spent a lot of money on, for me, I spent $20 on a Harley Davidson vest that I turned around and sold for $100. Now, I could have found 20 items at the bins for $1 each, and I could have made $200-$300 off of those 20 items. So for me, I really reached out there and went out of my business model and kind of like went out on a limb and just bought this item because I knew it would sell. You don't always want to do that unless it's an item you know is going to sell, because you're out that $20 if it doesn't. Or now you're trying to scrape up just the $20 to get it back. So personally, I try to keep my cost of goods super, super low. And the way that I do that is by shopping at the Goodwill, the outlet. I mainly try to get really small items because you pay by the pound. And if I am getting big items, it's something that I want to be making a really decent profit on. But for the main part, the items that I sell are really small. I really enjoy selling lingerie type items, and those are really small. Another way that I keep my cost of goods low is by shopping at the garage sales and the swap meets. I actually stay away from thrift stores because thrift stores won't really work with you on the prices. So I always go to the swap meet when I'm selling there, and I love doing garage sales, especially if it's like a weekend and I'm driving to the Goodwill. I'm just gonna stop along the way, no harm done. I'm going sourcing anyways, right? Alright guys, well, that actually completes my little podcast, my first session with you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys stop by for the next one, and until next time, let me know if there's any topics you guys want me to talk about in the comments below. But have a pretty day. Bye guys.